with Easy Adapted PE. Today we are going to talk about pre-CSE preparation. So what are we doing to prep for those pre-CSE meetings? CSE is Committee of Special Education, and these pre-meetings are where you're taking the information that you've gathered on the student all year, or at least half of the year, right? Because these usually end up happening like February, March, unless you have a kiddo come in mid-year, or maybe your school district does things a little bit differently. But around February, March, April, that's when the pre-CSEs and the CSEs are in like high gear. So really, how are we preparing for those meetings? Now, what are these meetings, right? So this is basically where you're getting together with the team, including the parents, but there's no special ed admin in there yet, okay? There's no principals, there's no big overseeing, like official things aren't happening yet. This is just where you're bringing this information to the team and the parents and saying, here's what I got for you, here's the goals I'm thinking about next year, and what is your input, okay? But when we go to these meetings as phys ed and adapted phys ed teachers, we need to be on point. Because anytime that we're outside of our gymnasium, we want to be looked at like professional teachers. Okay, so when we're coming to these meetings, you're going to have a whole pre-CSE template ready to go, and I have those on my website, so you're more than welcome to grab one of those. You're going to have that ready to go. You're going to fill it out with whoever's at the meeting. You're going to fill it out with your goals ahead of time, right? So this is the goals that I'm thinking that I want to discuss with the parents and make sure they're on board. You want to have all of your data up until that point ready to go, so that if parents are like, I don't understand why you want this goal, or do you really think they're going to meet their current goal to be able to change it for next year, you can show them the data now and say, actually I do, because if you're looking at these charts, or if you're looking at this graph, or whatever, however you want to communicate that to those parents, they're going to be able to see that and specifically show them, okay, yes, I think this is going to be a good goal. This is also a great time for you to say, hey, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, whoever it is, caregiver, what do you think their goal should be? What would you like to see next year? Because 9 times out of 10, I will tell you, the parents want the kids to have friends, and they look at phys ed as a great time for this. So you might have to be working on something that is a little bit out of the box, right? So it's going to be a little bit more social. It might be playing with a team. It might just be making a friend. And so what does that mean for you? That means you need to start thinking about, okay, so if this is going to be a goal for them for next year, maybe they're going to 4th or 5th grade, that peer buddy system is going to have to start in the fall next year. You're going to have to get on top of that quick. Make sure you run it by your principals, the special ed teacher, all of these different people who are going to be part of the mix. But that's something that you're really going to want to think about, because yes, you can curate social abilities, like social interactions in phys ed. You can absolutely do that, but that's going to get exhausting day in and day out. If you have trained peer buddies in there who just know what to do, and maybe you have some aides in there as well to kind of help out, then you're going to have an extra set of hands and eyes, and honestly, some really compassionate and empathetic kids that really want to create friendships with students that are different from them. And isn't that joyful to see and joyful to feel? So that's something you really want to look into as well when those parents are coming back at you with that social piece. In this meeting, you want to listen to what the OT says, the PT, the speech, all of those people, because what could end up happening is that, for example, your goal for the student next year, again, let's say the goal is to be able to dribble a basketball 5 times. Let's just say that. The student will be able to dribble a basketball using the correct form 3 out of 5 times with minimal assistance during physical education class. Let's just say that's what it is. Well, PT is also doing a dribbling goal. Boom. Now, hopefully you've been to a lot of the team meetings and you guys already worked this out ahead of time. But let's say you couldn't make the last team meeting, you weren't able to connect with them, and now we're at the pre-CSE and we're finding out that our goals are very similar. There's 2 ways to do this, maybe 3. One, you can jump on board with the PT and you guys can have a joint goal, okay? So you're both going to be working on this goal together, whether she's doing it in PT or you're doing it in PE. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to extend your goal. So that PT really works on those finite skills. Usually it's individually. They are working on motor ability and motor movement. What you do as the phys ed is you're taking those beautiful skills as a phys ed and APE teacher, you're bringing them into a group setting, and now that student needs to perform that skill while there's all these other things going on, right? Whether it's sensory, other students in the room, they're dribbling towards a goal. It might be a relay race or some sort of a team game. So there's all these other pieces that come into it, and you can talk to the parent and explain it to them like that. Like, I will extend my goal to the student will be able to dribble a basketball 3 out of 5 times towards during a relay race, and appropriately place the ball within the goal area and return back to their team. You know, which is actually a really hard skill, especially for some of our kiddos on the autism spectrum and things like that, or even with Down syndrome who just want to do their own thing. So that can be very tricky. So, and again, that wasn't a perfect goal, what I just said, but something along those lines where you're extending it. So you're still kind of working together. The third thing I would say would be you drop it and you pick a new goal, which hopefully you've been taking data on a lot of different pieces, and you'll have a backup goal. So that might be something that you want to come to that meeting with, is a backup goal, so that you're not just sitting in the wind like, oh, okay, I'll think about that. I'll work on that. I'll get to that. Well, you could say, well, looking at their data, it looks like they could probably work on this skill as well. How does that sound to you? Great, great. So then when you get to that CSE meeting, all this didn't just happen in front of your admin and your principal and the special ed person and all of the important people that are there. So this is something you really want to prep ahead of time. And you want to be ready for those parents so that you're looking professional, and you're looking professional in front of the team. You want to dress professionally that day. Don't wear a hat. You want to dress professionally, right? And just do your best to kind of step it up for those pre-CSE meetings, and those CSE meetings. You want to step it up as well. Just throw a sweater on, you know? If you're a male, you could throw something on. I mean, it doesn't matter, male, female, but you could throw something on with a little bit of a collar, take your hat off, you know, just try to look a little bit more presentable on those days. I'd love to hear what you do to prep for your pre-CSE meetings. Please let me know, leave a comment below, and I will keep making these videos. I'll see you guys next time.